as this opens up. I know when I left it yesterday, I was close to being able to finish out the event. We will see. I forgot. I haven't really checked much today. So, 5 more wizarding challenges. 15 foes, so 3 foes per challenge. Or 16 foes, so still 3 to 4 per challenge. And use 5 potions there. And that's the same thing. The foes. So, so what we'll do, we'll head to a fortress and go do some wizarding challenges. And then drop Barufios right before, because I think I should be able to do 5 or 6 within 30 minutes. Do that. Open my port keys that I have already popped. I may not get my walking in, or the 0.25, we will see. Last night, it took forever to build up. Sometimes it seems to do that, other times it's real easy. So, we will see there. We go from there. I will say, if you are looking at any of the items to purchase, the bags or whatever they're called, I can't remember right now, the trunks, you might want to try early, because I've literally been on the phone with Google. I was on the phone with Google for hours today trying to get it so that I could purchase one, and they still don't have it figured out. So, go figure there. There's not much I can really do. Sorry. Not much I can really do because, well, they don't seem to have a clue why it's the way it is. They just know that it is. They keep trying to tell me, well, it's your device. Do a factory reset on your device and it'll work just fine. But I tried it, so I have my Google Pixel that I had. It isn't connected. It doesn't have a SIM card in it, but I can use it at home, plugged in on my Wi-Fi. And I still had Wizards Unite on it. So I opened it up and I tried. And I had the same issues on both that and on this OnePlus Pro 7. Or OnePlus 7 Pro. So, I can't see that restarting or doing a device reset on one phone is going to fix the issue when it's the same issue on 2 different phones. So, they can't seem to grasp the fact that that their steps aren't working. So, and I'll get one. I had one, and then she's like, well, I can't help you for a reason. I stopped for a minute, calmed down, thought of things, remembered this had happened before and how to fix it. So then tried that, got it back to where we started at, and contacted them again, and they turn that off. The next person tried the same thing, and I'm like, already tried that. What, you already tried this? Yes, I already tried it. It's not going to work. Because I already tried it. Oh, well, let's try this. Which I totally get. Wrong thing. I gotta use this one. Which I totally get that they are supposed to go through their steps. But they were like, well, we have to do a complete reset of the phone then. And I'm like, okay, since then, I've tried it on another device that also has my account on, and I'm getting the same issue. But we have to do a factory reset. A factory reset will fix it. And I'm like, how will it fix it if it's happening on two separate devices? That doesn't make sense. Unless you can tell me you can restart your computer at home and fix something that's going wrong at Microsoft. And explain how that works. Oh, but that won't work. But yours will. How will mine work? When it's on two separate devices, it's the same idea. Maybe you should reset your phone. Factory reset your phone to fix mine then. And they couldn't grasp that. And he's like, and I told him again, oh, I guess it isn't your device. I know, it's your domain administrator. Contact them. And I said, this has happened once before. And it ended up being on your end, and it had something to do with the password that they had to push through. No, it's your domain administrator. They'll be able to fix it. And they insisted and insisted, so I finally gave in, contacted my domain administrator. Everything was A-okay on their side. Not one issue. I should have been able to do the purchase. So, I contacted them back again, obviously, and told them that. Well, then it's your phone. We need you to reset or take your account off your phone and put it back on, and that'll fix it. We already tried that. It didn't fix it. What? It didn't fix it? That should have fixed it. Well, it didn't fix it. Okay, then you need to do a device reset. After I'd already told him I did it, I've tried it on two different phones. And I said the same thing. How is it going to resolve it on two different phones to do a device reset on one phone? Oh, you're having the same issue on more than one phone? No, that can't be. You can't have two separate phones you could actually try this on. So, it's been interesting. And I will keep you up to date on... Oh, and then I got a email. Well, we've tried everything on our end. It must be your phone. So contact your phone manufacturer. And I responded, it's two different phones that it's happening on, remember? And one of those two is Google. So would you tell me how to fix it? That may be bad, but I'm kind of frustrated with their help. I've ended up talking to 4 different people over the time. 3 or 4 different people, I can't remember. And they still get there. And I will say the last one, I literally said to him, something is wrong with your programming. No, nothing's wrong with the programming. Something is wrong with the programming. And I laid it out to him. I said, here's the possibilities of the issues. 1, it's device specific. But if it's device specific, then how come it tells me to reset my password by clicking here, and it takes me specifically to the password for my whole account, to where to reset the password for my whole account, which my admin doesn't allow because of the way it's set up and whatever. So that I get, but it shouldn't do that. And I told him that specifically. If it's a device specific, it should have a different way of setting it up than the way it's set up. So that would be a programming issue, right? Well, I guess. Okay, so we've admitted that if it's that, it's a programming issue. So I'm even bringing up the thing you guys are trying to insist it is. That would still be a programming issue. Yes, and if it's what I think it is, it's still a programming issue. Because something's wrong with it pushing the notification for the password through. It's pushing it through wrong and been reset wrong. That would be a programming issue. Well, yeah, that would be a programming issue. Okay, so either way, it's a programming. So no matter what it is, it's a programming issue. There is a programming issue on your site. Well, I guess, but we don't know what it is. I didn't say you knew what it is. I said that there's a programming issue. Oh, I guess you're right. I'm just going, I do know what I'm talking about. And the only way that it could not be a programming, and there's really no way it could not be a programming issue. So you denying it being a programming issue shows that you're trying to pretend something's not the problem when it actually is. And that upset me even more. Because, just admit it. Yeah, there's a programming issue. We don't know if it's with our program, not even that. It's obviously their program. So we don't know if it's a communication in the phone that's causing the programming issue. But then something should have been programmed different on our site. And things should be a little bit different there. And it wasn't walked through right. Okay, fine. I'll totally accept that one. If that's what they had told me. But to literally tell me that, things, yeah. So it was kind of, no, we're going to pass the buck. And that was what was frustrating is, period, we're going to pass the buck to anyone and everyone we can think of. And when I literally made them have to admit that it was on their side, they really struggled with it. I mean, I can see if there's some suspicion, but in this case, it was really obvious. And in the end, he even had to admit that it was on their side too, or that it was on their side. And that's I think it upset me is because even after he admitted that, they tried to brush it back off as in it was not on their side. And it was like, no, this is on your side. Just take responsibility for it and admit that something's wrong somewhere and we need to find the answer. If they had done that, I probably would not have been as frustrated. But even the one time they were willing to accept responsibility, they tried to push off responsibility. And it was like, excuse me. Just accept responsibility for it and tell me what you're going to do to fix it. Oh, well. So I do have some good news from yesterday, and I'll show you in a little bit. Once I get everything collected. Okay, now come over here. I'll need to finish those today, but stay vigilant. Okay. I got a little bit, so I'll show you. I completed one more of them. So, let's see, 17 minutes, yep, port key now, use. Nothing I really needed, but oh well. It's this one I'm still waiting for in the one to finish off, so I should be able to place, I think, unless it didn't give me credit for opening that port key. Okay, I did get credit for opening it. I need one more, that's right. Okay, so we got that done. Pick up a port key, which does this, but I'm going to save that. Okay, let's check these out. Yep, I managed to get through all of both Christmas Calamity bonus and the bonus for and get the 12 tasks of Christmas done. Just barely. So, thank you for joining us, or joining me. Question. Tomorrow, a couple questions. Tomorrow, when would you like me to stream, since you're the only one that's on right now? And then Christmas Day, would you like me to do a live stream where I open my Secret Santa from the WooTubers? So, did the Secret Santa thing that the YouTubers were doing, just do on this stream? Or would you prefer it to be more going after, actually going out and going after stuff? What would you like to see? Tomorrow or Christmas Day? Early. Okay. What's early? Because I don't know what time. So here right now it's 3:20 p.m. So I'm not sure where you're at. You like to see me go after stuff. Okay, noon. So about 3 hours earlier than now. I can definitely do that. So is noon early? Because Texas, that would make it like, let's see, noon here would be about 1 p.m. there. Is that early enough? Or would you like me to do it more like 10 or 11 here? So that would be 11 to 12 your time, or what time's early? So, because you said early, but then you said noon. Okay, that's fine. I will do that then tomorrow. I will go out about noon here. So somewhere between 12 and 1 there. So, because I'll probably go out 11 to 12 here. So about in that time. What time sounds better? Because I'm pretty open. My kids will be working for my mom. And as far as I know, she's not going to ask for my help. So I can go out pretty much any time tomorrow. Okay, I'll plan somewhere between 11 to 12 my time, which will be 12 to 1 your time. Another question I have is, did you want me to, another option on Christmas Day I thought of is that I could try and take the presents out, because I know we're going to head over to my brother's at one point. And I could do a live stream, and then after we finish at my brother's, and then do a live stream of opening the stuff, and then go out and do Wizards Unite. So, in case you don't know, because I'm not sure if you've watched where we've said it, my brother actually lives kind of close to where I'm at right now. So where most of our stuff to go after is. So I could do a combination also. Just a minute and I'll pull over and look at what you said. I hear too. So sometimes reading is harder. Let's see. Okay, how about we do this? If I open this up, because you have to have the number. So, could you write down that friend code and then add me? And honestly, this is for anyone. I don't really care. Right now, I will say, as time goes, well, even now, I'm more likely to open if you send runestone gifts is like number 1, number 2 is energy. But when we're on the stream, if we're friends, when you catch me on a live stream, just say, hey, I try to once a day. So once every live stream, say, okay, here's what gifts I have, and go through my gifts. And you can say, I want that gift. And if you're on the live stream, you get first dibs at it. So that's why I'm holding it open right now. And obviously, anyone who adds me right now is going to be first in the friends lists. As my friends list fills up, it'd be who I haven't heard or seen for a while. Yeah. Okay. Pokemon Go. I don't play as much, but let me open that up in just a second. See where my 7 minutes. Let me hurry and go after these, and then after that 7 minutes is up, I can go into Pokemon Go and let you see my user code there. And I can try and get you another code or two of people who play a little bit more. Ah, drat, missed it. I was out gonna go after that frog brain. That's okay. Because I don't know if my stepson will have room or not. I know his friends list is usually pretty full, but I can check with him. And I know my husband plays Pokemon Go more than I do. And he, I know, has room in his friends list. So, but I don't know what his number is right now, if that makes sense. So, so on the stream yesterday that you probably didn't hear. Oh wait, no, it wasn't yesterday. So it wasn't on the stream. It was just talking. I realized part of why I like Wizards Unite a little bit more than Pokemon Go. And this is may sound weird, but it's the same reason I like the movies I like, and there's not very many. And it's my brain starts thinking through everything and trying to solve all the mysteries and everything else. So in Pokemon Go, there's a very, very basic storyline. There is a storyline, as my stepson insisted on yesterday. I admit that there is some storyline. But there's really not any mystery, any solving to it. It's pretty cut and dry. Whereas with Wizards Unite, there is a whole backstory and storyline that is still to be solved, if that makes sense. So my brain's, and just as an example, I'm trying to figure out what some things on the Azkaban plaque says, and I'll show you what I mean by the Azkaban plaque in just a little bit. But what they stand for, because it may help us figure out what's going on. So if I go to the registries, events, not that one, it's this one. This plaque, we actually have a closer picture of it. And those numbers under, so it says Azkaban prisoner, and then it has some 5 big numbers, but then it has things that are smaller, and we have a close-up of that, but I've compared, but that is different than what is on Sirius Black's plaque, and on Lucius Malfoy's plaque, because we actually have pictures of those. So if we can figure out what that is, there's a mysterious Azkaban prisoner, and we don't know who it is. So if we can figure out who it is, or if we can figure that out, then we might be able to figure out who this mysterious Azkaban prisoner is. That might directly have to relate with the storyline going on of what created the calamity. So, which, if that doesn't show you the way my brain works. Okay, so my husband went and watched Star Wars over the weekend, and I'm gonna try and put this so that there's no spoilers. But I was asking him information, or he's telling me about it, and I didn't really want to watch it. I get nightmares from a lot of movies, but not the Harry Potter ones. And so why? Well, I started asking him these things about what he had told me. And he's like, I don't know, they didn't say anything about that, and whatever else. You overthink things way too much. And literally that's what he said. You think things over way too much. And it dawned on me that the movies I don't get nightmares from are ones where they kind of lead your brain into where the mysteries are to consider, rather than leave you kind of open to anything. And so I think that's why is a lot of the movies that give me nightmares. Princess Bride. Just analyzing that over and over in my mind and all the different things about it. So my mind can try to figure out how the swamp was created and how the that machine was created and why it was even created, and you can imagine how that would cause nightmares. Whereas with Harry Potter, the areas to mull over are kind of defined, and they aren't scary areas necessarily. but it also shows totally why I would enjoy playing Harry Potter, because it gives my mind a workout compared to Pokemon Go. Ah, come on. I may have to run from this. And part of the way I realized that is I got thinking about also one of these streams I said I hate returning Angelina and Fred because they look like they're enjoying themselves and having a good time. And then it dawned on me that we've been told that the calamity takes these memories from the people and they can't really remember them. They just feel like they have a hole. And I remembered that Fred and Angelina, this was the last time they had together where it was really just fun. The literal last time, because after this is more when they end up going into when Voldemort comes to and becomes known of it by Harry and everything, and then from there so Voldemort's more known of, and then the war really starts, and then Fred dies during the war. So it literally is the last time, the last good, fun, whatever time that Fred had with Angelina. And this memory has been taken. So it's a really good reason to return the memory. Okay, let's see. I don't think that's my trainer code. There, now that's my trainer code. Let me know when you have it. Not a problem. Okay, let's go here now. Looks like I got one extravagant. I do need to remember to do one thing. There. Now let's see how many gifts I have. That makes it... Okay. So, I am going to head back to pick up a son. But I'm going to keep streaming. Just, I need to go get him. I left him at counseling. So I need to go pick him back up. He's 16 years old, so it's so old enough that they're working more with him, if that makes sense. That works. Anyway, so they're working just with my son rather than with the whole family and everything. The reason they started working with him And the whole reason he's in counseling right now, and he may be about to finish actually, is me and all my kids got diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome it'll be 2 years ago in March. And that can be it's a chronic illness that's a genetic, and obviously if me and all my kids have it. And it's a spectrum disorder, which means anywhere from good to really, really bad. But it will have some effect on your life, your whole life. And there's no cure. And so he was kind of struggling with the diagnosis, dealing with it, what it meant for his life, everything else. And so we started him in counseling after trying to work with him without counseling, me and the doctor, and it wasn't working very well. The doctor referred him to counselors that are there working directly at the doctor's office, which helps because that means that they're more active, not more active, that they're more aware of the medical that's going on. And he's doing a ton better from it. He said that the counseling was a big piece of the dominoes to help him turn things around, realize he has a good life ahead of him, and he can do things, and it's not devastating to have this diagnosis, is what he literally told me today. So it did what it was supposed to do. And now he's last year he failed a number of classes. And this year he's actually gone from failing to being a straight A student who also is working on graduating early. Rather than taking 3 years to graduate, he's wanting to graduate rather than taking 4 years to graduate from high school, he's wanting to do it in 3 years. So, yeah, complete 180. And I'm not complaining at all. So he went from complete discouragement, there's nothing he can do, to figuring out what he can do and how to make it to work with his disease, with the disease, to still be able to be successful. When he gets sick, he's aware that it's harder on him when he gets sick. So he's had to learn, what does he need to do to not get sick? And he's been able to figure that out. He had to figure out how to deal with things when he's hurting. Because he will always... So it's easier to get sick just because your body's working harder all the time. It's really easy to do things that leave you in pain that for other people would not matter at all. Like on the stream a while ago, I actually got hit by someone while I was by a car. I was sitting in my car, I just finished the stream, and I got hit. And so I was still in a parking space, even. So it wasn't, and they were pulling in, so it wasn't very hard, but it was bad. But because of the condition we have, it actually knocked my cervical vertebrae out of place enough that I was struggling to swallow. And that, so something that would not have affected someone else at all, or most people at all, literally moved things enough that I was struggling to swallow. So it shows you how easy things are to move out of place and to have slip out of place. And so he's had to learn to deal with that. Let's see what's up here. So, let's go mark that. Got to remember for sure which one it is. Oh, can't check that way. Ginger root. Okay. And so he's had to learn to deal with that. What does he do when something slips out? How much pain is acceptable versus not? So he's had to figure that out, and he's managed to figure that out. And when he does get sick, it takes longer to heal. Or when he injures himself in some way or other, it takes longer to heal. So he's had to take that and to figure out, what does that mean? And how does he work with that to still be successful? And he's managed that. So I've been pretty proud of him. And I know people sometimes people will say counseling is not, that it's something to be ashamed of and that you shouldn't do and whatever. But, so with him, all that was needed was counseling to help turn his life around. His older sister and brother had to go on medication. And that, but once they did, it's helped them out a lot. Let me see what he's saying. Hi, did you want me coming in?
No, I'm going to reschedule some appointments.
Okay. You know when school is and whatever, so I'll trust you.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there was any other events that I need to be worried about.
I don't think so. Just
okay, bye.
Get it printed out and so I can get it in both our calendars. Love you. Bye.
Yep, bye.
So you can see, he's even willing to schedule his appointments. I agree on the counseling helps, depending on the person and the issue. Sometimes they need to go on medication, and there's nothing wrong with that. If they need medication to feel better, they need medication. It's just like if you, I have a digestive issue. I need Zenpep. I need to be on a medication called Zenpep for that. And it makes a huge difference in my life. My husband is type 1 diabetic. He needs insulin to be able to function. I don't think there's any different there. I do think there's a difference between negative people and always being positive. I think you can take a situation that's negative, or, death is negative. If someone dies, you're going to be down for a little while. But how you deal with that situation, there's those who deal with it more positively than others, but I don't think it's ever a totally positive situation. And I think that's the difference. And there's a reason I'm saying this, is because I know some people who, with chronic illnesses or things like that, or people with even depression, that hear someone saying, always be positive, and they would take that literal and feel like they could never say anything negative or be negative at all, or else something's wrong. And that's where I think some mistakes happen, is I think you can be a positive person, but sometimes acknowledge negative things that happen. Kind of like, I don't know that Harry was really a negative person in the books, but sometimes it was pretty negative. There was one point he was really negative, and that was in the books and the movies, and that was when he was book 5 and kind of 6, when it was book 5 or 6. I'd have to look at it, but where Voldemort was taking more control of him, and even in some book 7, but even then, a lot of times he would snap out of it. And it was when he was really negative that they realized there was an issue. And in Wizards Unite, he's become very positive again. But there's a few times he's like, take care of this, we don't need to remember it. Or things like that. And he shows he's concerned. I agree. Harry was curious. I agree that wherever you can try to take a negative and turn it into a positive is a good thing. And here's my thing, is to try to look for the positive in the negative. To find the silver lining, per se. And I actually, on my business channel, have 1 or 2 videos. So my business channel is really more focused on Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And 1 or 2 of those videos are finding the silver lining of EDS. But at the same time, part of, I think, finding that silver lining requires acknowledging the negative. So, you can't, if you have the death of a family member, I don't think it's really healthy to not acknowledge the death and not acknowledge the sadness and everything else that goes along with it. But so I'm going to take as an example, my grandma a few years ago, or my grandma died a number of years ago. Maybe even 10, 15 years ago, I can't remember. But she died from they assumed it was ALS. They had diagnosed it as ALS. I now suspect it was Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. But they thought it was Lou Gehrig's. So when she died, she was in her 80s, early 80s to mid 80s. And for a couple of years, her life had been going downhill. It was a really sad time. We missed her a lot. But she was no longer suffering. So to be able to look at the silver lining, I also had to acknowledge the negative. The negative, she's gone. We miss her. But she's not hurting because she's gone. And being the religious person I am, I feel that she's in a better place, if that makes sense. So I think it's kind of a combination. It's trying to find the positive where you can, while still acknowledging the negative when there is negative. So I will admit, earlier today, just on this stream, I was talking about how I was on the phone for over 2 hours with Google, trying to get it so I can purchase something.
A couple of things. First, can we go by the DRD building so I can pick up a pamphlet so I can start studying?
DLD?
Yeah.
Second, I'll talk to you about that.
I have another appointment on the 30th.
Okay.
And then okay.
So I'm streaming.
I'm sorry.
Do you want to still talk about it or when I'm done? Okay.
February 3rd, I have to put an appointment at 2.
Okay.
Which means I'll be at school early, but that's okay.
Okay. You'll be in your next set of classes by then.
I don't care.
So, what's your second hour? Oh, it's seminary, I think, by then again.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, you'll be fine. Missing ones will be okay. Sure. So, sorry about that. My son wanted to talk to me. So, I'm having trouble in the Play Store with Google, and I spend over 2 hours trying to figure it out. Kind of pretty negative in my mind. But the positive is I'm kind of more used to this than other people. Between medical and everything else, I've learned sometimes to just keep pushing through and try and figure out answers and everything. And I've got the determination to be able to do it. Hopefully we'll get it figured out. And hopefully they'll be able to figure out exactly what's going on, because this is the second time it's happened in the past few years. It's been a number of years since the last time it happened, but this is the second, but it has happened before. Maybe this time they'll be able to get it figured out and be able to stop it from ever happening again to me, but 2, ever happening to anyone else. Because I know last time I was told it was actually not uncommon for it to happen. Just they kind of kept it under wraps, didn't want people to know exactly that it was happening. So I suspect what they're going to find out is that when my domain provider changed the way they did the passwords, it messed up the fix they did last time, and they need to fix it, is my suspicion. Whether that's true or not, I can't say. We'll have to wait and see. But that's my suspicion. So there is positive in it, and there could be a lot of positive. Maybe help someone else who doesn't have the patience to sit around. 16 hours, 28 minutes at Riverwoods. So that's my take on it. Also, I managed to get them to admit that it's in their programming that the issue is. No matter where they find out the real issue is, something's wrong with their programming, and I got them to admit that. And that I don't think something many people can manage. Yep. Thanks for joining. You have a great day too.
So I have no idea what I'm supposed to grab, so I grabbed 3 things.
We're getting ready to go, but thank you for joining. I'm just quickly going after this last couple of things here. And I will see you tomorrow between 11 and 12. Sometime in there I will start streaming. Oh, hi Steph, right as I was about to stop. So, we're thinking, someone just jumped off. The plan is to, and I can stay on for a while longer since you're here. I was going to get off since you weren't, or since everyone would have gone, but since you're here, I'll stay on for a little bit. So, tomorrow, the plan is to, just so you know, I will start streaming between 11 and 11 a.m. and noon my time. So on the East Coast, that would be between...
Hey, someone's here from the East Coast.
1 and 2 p.m. I believe, if I did my math right. Yeah, 1 and 2 p.m. And Texas, whatever, so Central Time, it would be between 12 and 1 p.m. is the plan for tomorrow. On Christmas, we have a couple options. One person has said they really like watching when I'm out and about and actually doing stuff. So I could go talk to my missionary. I don't know quite yet when that'll be. And then we could go live, unwrap the gifts, and then go quickly do some stuff in Wizards Unite. What would you like to see? Or I could just go do stuff in Wizards Unite.
Steph said, sorry, I was setting up a VR headset at 4:03. And yep, that's right, I'm saying for the time. VR headsets are really hard to set up. I'm glad that you have the opportunity to set one up. That sounds amazing. I want to have a VR headset eventually, but I don't have money right now. But, enjoy the VR headset. They're really fun.
And no problem, I totally get it. I'm actually glad you got on before I had stopped the stream.
Steph said, sound fun. I want to see the Secret Santa.
Okay, we'll plan on that then. I'll talk. I don't know when exactly it'll be Christmas Day. I'm assuming sometime in the next couple of minutes, in the next hour or so, I'll get a call from my son. If not, I probably will end up texting him or something as a reminder that we need to know when. But I will talk to him and then and then let you guys know when. But we'll do our call with him for Christmas at my brother's house because he wants to talk to my brother. And then I will go live, unwrap the presents, and go out and do a little bit of Wizards Unite before we go back and pick up the kids.
Steph said, oh my gosh, it is amazing for the headset. Yeah, no, apparently there's a lot of really new headset game, like VR headset games that are extremely good. There's also like a portal thing where you use your hand, like it has a hand motion where you can like point and like high five things, and it's so good.
Did you hear the Qualcomm announcement?
It'll take a bit for her to like, attempt it, but
I know.
Am I supposed to be liking it?
Yeah, if you're reading them to me, then yes.
Okay. Yes.
That is good. That would be will be exciting. Now I know they figure. Some people are saying it's probably a few years down the road, but holy crap, that would be fun. So I'm gonna explain it for his sake.
Yeah, because she said yes, and then probably not. What's going on? Question mark.
Oh, okay. So probably
yes.
not. Niantic is partnering with Qualcomm, which is a VR provider, to work on headsets and one of the for VR game for AR games.
Yes was about the VR, but
okay, for AR games. And so, and the one specific one they mentioned was Wizards Unite.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So, literally being able to play Wizards Unite, to see the Wizards Unite stuff while you're seeing what's going on in the world. So, real glasses.
There we go. That's interesting. I don't know how they're going to do that, but that sounds pretty cool.
The idea of, from what I understand, they're working on something similar to what, now I can't think of the car, the electric car.
Tesla?
The Tesla. How the Tesla projects up on the screen, or up on the windshield, so you can see while you're driving some of the stuff. I think it's Tesla. Maybe it's BMW or something.
OMG, that will be absolutely amazing. Use hashtag Wizards Unite in VR on my love hearts.
Yeah. And so, kind of VR, but AR. So rather than having to use the phone and be able to take it around and whatever, it literally would be a pair of glasses. And all I can imagine is that they would have a wand too, or something, like the gloves type idea. So you would be able to click on the different things and go after them, and do your traces literally while you're walking.
Something with that is like what someone could do is you could do like sword fighting. Oh, that would be so cool.
The wands, basically
no,
that.
Not for Wizards Unite, but like just in general, like if you could do like sword fighting using VR. Mm-hmm. Oh, it sounds so good.
So I was so excited when I read that. Now they say, sorry, I've got a tickle in my throat. They say that's a couple years off. At least that they just started working on, they announced the partnership is what they've done, and Niantic and Qualcomm. But the one specific one they mentioned, it wasn't Pokemon Go, it was Wizards Unite. So that would be cool. I just hope that when they create it such that you can use regular prescription glasses with it.
I would be so happy. Lightsabers. Yes.
They have the lightsabers already in some of the VR ones.
There's a Beat Saber game where you play songs.
Saber.
Well, I mean, you don't fight other people in that one.
That's true.
You're playing songs and you like hit like notes and stuff. And oh my gosh, it looks so much fun.
And they actually won. What's one of the ones that did Mythbusters? Adam Savage actually
Adam.
liked Beat Sabers so much, but he didn't like the feel of the things they used. And he got an adapter that was on eBay, but it still didn't feel right. So he created, using that adapter, he literally created his things to be a lightsaber with the weight and everything.
Okay. Steph just said it is. I played it LOL. Well, it is. I just played it LOL.
So yeah, if you get a chance, you might go on, look up Adam Savage's Tested, I believe is what it was in.
Yep. Adam Savage does, like, his YouTube channel now is called Tested, so it'll be in there if he did anything with
and he literally adapted. I think it was a one-day build, and he adapted the hand controls that they have for that into a lightsaber.
That sounds cool. Most of his things that he does now are one-day builds.
What did she say?
She hasn't said anything again
you
yet.
just hadn't heard it that last one.
Yep.
So, but I could, especially after watching that, I could totally see that you could transfer that technology into a wand and be able to do something similar with wands and literally have it be able to trace how you're doing the traces and everything. If you're casting the spell right, etc. Oh, that would be so fun. And honestly, I think my kids, if they did that, and they created other Harry Potter stuff like that, I could see walking around in my house and hearing spells cast left and right in multiplayer games. Actually, that's right. But I will say that was part of what I liked about Harry Potter is my kids, well, my siblings would get violent if they watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Star Wars, Star Trek, etc. So with my kids, I told them there was no fighting allowed unless it was with Harry Potter. And all you could do was cast spells at each other. And they grew up casting spells at each other.
They said, will do. I love Adam from Mythbusters. Yeah, Adam's awesome. I like him. I mean, I like all the guys from Mythbusters. Like Grant. Grant's pretty cool, too. Because he plays board games. No, but Adam he's awesome. Adam's really cool.
That's been so if you look up the Tested channel, they have some other things, but I usually watch the one-day builds or basically the builds that Adam's in charge of. The unnamed or things like that I don't watch as much of because I don't think they're as good as the ones where Adam's literally part of it and where he's actually building something, but yeah.
Oh, we were going to go and grab Subway. Oh, well.
We don't have time.
Oh, yeah, whatever.
Because you went and picked up that stuff.
That's right.
So we can maybe hopefully
Do it afterwards.
Yeah. And if you don't mind,
And stuff. My mom will still be here. I have an appointment for something. But goodbye.
So I'll take the phone in just a minute. We went to counseling and now he's got PT. So, but I'm not going to be going around anymore because I am going to go in with him. It varies how long these appointments take. So I'll go in with him in just a minute, but figured I could stop and talk for a minute. He's actually doing really good, and he's loving this physical therapist. It's, I think, another piece of the puzzle in hope for the future, if that makes sense. I know you kind of missed that conversation, but he struggled there for a while with the diagnosis, and counseling helped. He said was a big piece of the dominoes in tipping things the right way and in helping him realize there's hope for the future and everything. And I'm pretty sure, so PT with the other physical therapist helped a bit, but this one has made a huge difference to him. And he's only gone a couple of times, but he actually sees a lot of hope from this one. And it's cool because I graduated with the physical therapist. So, yeah, he actually went from failing classes last year in school to now he's hoping to graduate a year early. So I'm pretty proud of him.
Good, how are you? Thank you.
But, yeah. Oh, so I'll show you what I did earlier today. I managed to complete all of it and collect all of it with the Barufios on. So that was cool. Obviously, that did a lot towards this, my XP, because I had Barufios on while I collected all of those. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, Steph, what gift do you want? I have an extravagant Urnstone, regular sponsored ones, a dottle drought, an extravagant ingredient, a couple extravagant spell energies. Okay, that's why I ask. So you get this one. That's why I've always said whoever asks first gets first. No problem. Like I've said, whoever's on the stream gets to choose what they get. Cool. So you actually got to stay through Christmas?
Pains come back since you haven't done as well this week.
Your mom was saying that you felt pretty good after last time.
Yeah, I mean,
I totally get that one. And considering what you went through, and wait at least a couple of years before you even consider going to visit them. Down the road, you might be able to go visit your family where they live, but right at first, I think with everything that happened, you need to have them come visit you for holidays.
It's lifetime.
I will let my oldest son know that.
You're learning.
This one doesn't, and I don't, but well, that works. Part of my thing is I say a few years, your family, and not have to deal with the crap that you've been through, and so then you can go from there. But that, like I said, a few years minimum down the road. I know that any of them are going to move near you. And I remember you saying, in your own family, your parents are there. Things like that. Hopefully that's not for years down the road, but it is something to consider. Oh, I get it. There's a reason I'm saying years down the road. And it's because I really do believe that it's going to take years before you're even at a place mentally you can consider even. Because otherwise you're going to be too off to do it. That's one, especially as they see you happier, and their eyes slowly start to be open to what actually was going on. And that's going to take a while. It took a while in my case. But eventually they realized, and then they were actually supportive of what I needed to do to keep myself in a good place. But it took them seeing honestly, that was my family. Everything else. And then within half a year to, and I will admit, my dad changes his opinion. When it's easier for him to change his opinion than for some who are older. But he ended up realizing and went, okay, I get it. And so when I wasn't there covering for him. And so then they had to completely see what was going on. I can see that. I totally can see that. And I'm not even saying you're going to want to be in a relationship. And some of those, even the ones who may have been supportive to some degree, you probably still have some things that you're going to want to work on some forgiveness and stuff for their responses to what happened. Others will. So part of it is, from the sounds of it, you kind of are getting along with your mom. Okay. And it sounded like there's still your relationship with your children and your grandchildren that you care about. And that's kind of more who I'm saying you might want to see go visit with, not necessarily from what you've said there, but you may have some siblings that you care about, that you would like to at least kind of keep that relationship open with. That you love them. Should I just take the wallet back and you keep the paper? You love them. And so you want to spend the time with them you can. And your mom knows she's even older than you. And she probably wonders how many years she has left. And so wants to spend what time she can with you. But she also wants you happy. And so it's hard for her, because those are two different things. She can't have you happy and have you stay with her. Okay, those are the ones I was meaning, was your mom and your kids and grandkids. That was that point. Talk to them and say, you know what, I'm coming, but I don't want anyone else to know. I'm here for you guys and only you guys. So I'll get a hotel room or I'll stay with one of you guys. Please don't try to insist you go visit them or things like that. You could look at them and say, no, this is who I came to spend time with, and this is what I came to do, and that's what I'm going to do. And I think as you become settled, keep them in your life. And down the road a number of years, you might be willing to, after they've come and visited you a number of times, to say, you know what? Yeah, you shouldn't be. You could stay and still close enough that they could go do things with you and whatever. And you could spend time together without where you only spend an hour or two at their house, if that. But that would be an idea, is to consider what you might be able to do to not be in town, if it's that small of a town. To not be in town very much at all, and only on one day. Above head. Thank you. Sorry. That was my son. He was cheating a little bit on his sheet. Squat back farther. Your knees are coming forward. Better. Sorry. Before he hurt himself. But that would be my suggestion. Oh, I totally said that. I totally agree with that. Isn't that what I said years down the road? I mean, I would guess probably if your mom, hopefully your mom doesn't die for years and years. And hopefully you get a chance to things have recovered enough that you can visit with her a little bit before she dies and feel good about that. But I would bet you're going to want to be there for her funeral, and I would bet her funeral's going to be there. So that is one thing to consider, is what will you do when she does die? Is there somewhere you can stay out of town that you can show up for the funeral and maybe for the viewing, but not be around enough? And see, if you have that plan in mind, honestly, that's all I would recommend right now, is just because of what I can gather her age is. And, you know, what's your plan for at that point? And then from there down the road, you can make some decisions if you're ready to go visit grandkids and kids for Christmas or some other holiday.
What's your next one? I don't know. Where's your sheet?
It's right in my hand.
And I'm going to take him back for a few minutes. I just want to make sure you've got some things to work on. You did the bench work. Okay, the rows. You know what the wall lines is there? Yep, that's the one. With sternum up, chin tuck, flat low back. Yes. Get the ball. So 2 level rows. 1 second. Right, 15 or 20 pounders. 1. Back here. Yeah, come over here. Right arm, right leg. Yeah, I can bring my elbow out and just sit out here. A little lighter weight, so maybe 20 here, maybe 50 or 60. So you do a set or 2 rows, your elbow close, and just sit out here. Okay. Grab the big blue ball. Yeah, it's open back in a few minutes.
And that was all I meant by, I will say that was all I meant by eventually. You might want to go visit is eventually, years. I'm glad, because it sounds like that can give you the years you need to heal and become even stronger in who you are, to where when you come back, those who do know you and don't agree, who cares about them, and they'll see you're a totally different person. And I think your kids will totally understand that it's going to take you years to be able to get to that point that you've been hurt. And you're going to have to take time to heal and truly find you. Because up till now, who you've been is not who you really are, if that makes sense. Strong enough that, one, you will do it, still Steph, and 2, that you'll be in it, that the person you'll become, no one will be able to. 11 to 12 my time. so mountain time. And I will see you then.